Hi, and welcome to my 2024 BookTube Prize Finals TBR announcement. Here we are, pretty much near the very end of another year of BookTube Prize judging, and I am back in the game again. So, the BookTube Prize was started on BookTube by Robert Sheard back in 2019, and the purpose is to gather literary content creators around the Bookternet together to judge the best in literary fiction and nonfiction published in the US the year prior. So in 2024, we are judging 2023 releases. And we start way back at the beginning of the year with a group of 48 books per long division in fiction and nonfiction. And then through 4 rounds, we whittle those books down to, well, the 6 finalists we have to judge now for these next 2 months. And anyway, for myself, I tend to judge the first 2 rounds, the octafinals and the quarterfinals, and then I take off the semifinals to try to get some more of my own personal reading in, but now I'm back for the very final round, and so basically I have until September to read my ballot, and then in early October, Robert will announce the winners and runners-up for both fiction and nonfiction this year. So it's a very exciting time for those of us who've put a lot into this project throughout the year. I'm so looking forward to going over this last hurdle together. And I myself have been tracking all of the books that were contenders for the long list back in January to see how they did. Basically, in creating the first long list, we had these lists that Robert gave us, and we could choose 20 books from each list, and then, you know, the winners would comprise the long lists. So for nonfiction, of the 20 books I voted for, 16 made it to the octafinals, 12 made it to the quarterfinals, and then 5 made it to the semifinals. And now I'm down to 3 books that I personally chose for this list that are still in contention for the finals. So that's pretty exciting. That's half of the finals for nonfiction. The one I think I'm most sad is not in the running anymore is The Wager. I thought that would have been a really fun book to read, but alas, there is one book that I already have read in here for the octafinals, and that is How to Say Babylon by Safia Sinclair. And I'm not at all surprised that it's made it this far, and it could make it even further. I assume it might medal. And then anyway, for fiction, 11 of the 20 books I voted for made it to the octafinals list. Then we dropped way down to 4 books, making it to the quarterfinals, and then 2 made it to the semifinals list, I think. And finally, I am now down to 1 book that I personally voted for that's in the running for the fiction finals. And I also read that book for the BookTube Prize quarterfinals, and that one was Enter Ghost by Isabella Hamad, which was a powerful book, and I also assume that one might medal as well. Certainly has a decent chance now. But I am kind of sad that The Covenant of Water did not make it out of the semifinals. I figured that'd be a really fun, compelling book to read. I suppose I could go ahead and read it on my own, but maybe not in the immediate future, because I do have a ballot of 6 books now that I have to read and judge for the final round before the end of September. And as it happens, unsurprisingly, I was chosen to read for nonfiction in the finals. And without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and show off the 6 covers of my ballot. Okay, and finally I'm going to give some brief preliminary thoughts, pre-reading thoughts mostly, about these books. I have, though, as I mentioned, read How to Say Babylon in an earlier round, so that is read and reviewed and talked about, and all I will say now is that it was a powerful memoir about a woman who came out of a strict family situation with some Rastafari background in Jamaica, and sort of the journey she went on to find her own voice, and it's obviously been resonating with people. I rated it quite highly back in the octafinals, and so the other 5 books certainly have a hurdle to contend with that one. And those 5 books include Eve by Kat Bohannon, which I wrote on my little list here is an Origin of the Species book. That's the scant amount of research that I did into that, and it certainly interests me, especially because it's going to have, I assume, a female bent in discussing the origin of the species. Then there is Master Slave, Husband Wife by Lin Wu. And I understand this to be about a couple during slavery where one is white passing, and I think that's how they attempt to gain their freedom and move around the U.S. during antebellum times. And so definitely a story that immediately has a tense hook, and we'll talk about racial history in the U.S., and those tend to do very well, and I'm excited to see what I think of it. We also have We Were Once a Family by Roxana Asgharian, which, my notes are confusing, what I wrote back in January. Something about white couple, black kids, murder, and neglect. So similar themes about racial politics in the U.S., but, you know, from a different time period and different family structures. So that'll be interesting to compare and contrast against the last book. And then finally, of the 3 books I personally chose to be on the long list back in the day, well, one of them was How to Say Babylon. The second one was The Underworld by Susan Casey, which I chose for one of my science books. I try to, you know, diversify my picks a bit. And this is about a journey to the depths of the ocean. And I'm just very excited on the surface, no pun intended, that a science book actually made it this far into the BookTube Prize. They don't always do that, so I definitely want to give it as good of a shot as I can. Sometimes I myself have trouble with science books because I'm really a narrative reader, but I'm really hopeful for this one. And then the final book that I voted for all the way back when and has now made it all the way to the finals list is a huge chunkster biography, King by Jonathan Eig. And I think I am equal parts excited and terrified to read this because of the page count, but then also it's about Martin Luther King. And I do remember, you know, watching some reviews back in the earlier this year of BookTube Prize judges who were very taken with, you know, the breadth and the scope of this biography of such an important historical figure. So I am excited and intimidated. I guess I am very happy that I really only have to read 5 books for this ballot because I've already read How to Say Babylon. So hopefully that will help me out as well. And that about covers it for me now. Now that I've given my preliminary thoughts, I am zipping my lips as an official judge to not give any further commentary as I read through these books and start ranking them in my head. But if you would like more information about the BookTube Prize, I will link to the page and to Robert's finals announcement video down below, and I'll also link to the Goodreads pages for all 6 of these books down below as well. I already have a couple of these books waiting for me at the library, and I don't think there's any long holds on any of the books either, which is really exciting, so that I am pretty confident I'll be able to read all of them within the 2 months and not have to buy any of the books either, which will be nice on my pocketbook. Especially because the next time you should probably see me on this channel will be my July book haul video, which I'm doing a little late, but it was my birthday month and I may have gone a little bit overboard there, so hopefully it'll at least be fun to look at the books together. And I hope my fellow judges for the finals round are amped up and are excited to dip their toes into these final 12 books. I can't wait to hear all of your thoughts about this all the way out in October. But in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.